Can we get like
Okay.
that news intro, like do.
Yeah.
It's Schemeology time, episode
Yeah.
5.
We need to have some like lo-fi beats, and it's like this like a girl like pretty sounding girl voice in the background. Schemeology
Oh yeah,
is
like
the economy.
so
Like
like a
something like that.
Kanye sample or something.
Yeah,
Like
Kanye sample. Yeah, that'd
yeah,
be kind of nice.
it's either that or it's just death metal and it's just like pure
Yeah.
hardcore rock with
Yeah.
a guitar solo in the opening. I think
I
those are the
would
two options.
I think like you remember like Dragon Ball Z opening? Dragon, balls of
Oh,
dragon. Remember that?
we need an anime intro.
Yeah, anime
That's what
intro.
we
Yeah,
need.
yeah, yeah. Like a intro that's like I like Berserk, but like something a little more fun. Maybe like Girl Lagann. Like that'd be cool.
I mean, there's a bunch. Psychopath's intros, sweet. I
I don't even
mean,
know that one.
you haven't watched any of the ones that I like.
No. I feel
No,
like you like really weird animes.
I do like some weird animes. I don't
You
like the mainstream stuff, and I don't like anything
yeah.
that's like hypersexual and gross and pervy.
Like you know what's just like you know which one I know you hate based on what you just said?
Which one?
Sword Art Online.
Ugh, horrible.
Dude,
I
I hate it's so gross.
ugh. Here's the thing. I like the concept. Like you could make a
Yeah, the
concept.
concept's great. Yeah.
Yeah, the first 5 episodes, I was like pretty
Yeah.
intrigued. But then the second there became like a romantic love interest, and they had an anime like fairy daughter or something, like
Yeah.
I just, it killed it for me.
And they're like out in the woods, like being like a married couple, and you're just like, wait, this is like an action show? Like I
Yeah,
don't understand. Like what is this? Like yeah, that
yeah,
show's it's horrible. And
yeah.
like the next season they play this whole like sexual and there's sexual undertones in it with like him and his like half sister thing. Like I don't even know or cousin. Like I don't know. It's like half of animes are like weird sexual fantasies. Um, the only pure one is Dragon Ball Z.
The only pure anime is Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, yeah.
What about like
The
there's a lot of animes that are just pure fighting, just like fighting.
um, just only fighting.
Yeah,
That's kind of like Dragon Ball Z.
it is kind of like Dragon Ball Z. Have you ever
Yeah,
seen Afro Samurai?
I haven't. I should. I should see Afro
Dude,
Samurai.
you have to see Samurai.
My cousin loved that show.
I think we've talked about this. You got it. It's such a fun
Yeah,
because it takes like it's like the Boondocks of like anime. You know,
yeah. I
you
see what you're
know,
saying.
it's sweet. Like I don't
Yeah,
also know of any other like hip hop infused black samurai. Like
Samurai
it's
Champloo.
oh that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
I'm not an expert on anime
But
though.
Samuel L. Jackson's in this one, so
Oh, he's like the voice.
he's one of the main voices. He
Wow.
plays a crazy old man.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
funny.
funny. It's really funny.
I saw this clip today where this dude was like, it was like one of those great scheme where they do the whole thing where it's like we have 6 people here. Like it's like a YouTube video where it's like here's like 6 people and one of them isn't a girl. Like and we're gonna blindfold them. And so this one they blindfolded 6 people, 5 girls and one guy, and the guy's like a really good voice actor. And they tried to have everyone guess which one's the guy, but he's playing it off so well. Like it's so crazy. But as soon as I like saw that, I was just like, wow, like voice acting is like incredible. It's one of the
Vo-
most incredible skills.
Voice acting is awesome. I really wanted to do voice acting for a while because like
Really? Was that
totally,
your career path before the degeneracy?
kind of before tech degeneracy. Yeah, I wanted to go because
Wow.
I love South Park. I wanted to go write on South Park and then eventually
Yeah.
like write my own animated show and do all the voices myself.
Wow.
Because I love doing characters, and I have like a million
Yeah.
characters and voices that I just am constantly cycling through.
Are you one of those people that has like a ton of like characters that you just can't do in public that you'll do in the shower because it's like, embarrassing?
Well, I'll do them. It's more contextual. I like it to come out. I like to pretend to be those people answering things that other people say to me.
Yeah.
Like it's responding like a Southern man named Cletus, or
Yeah.
doing just something fun. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I feel like your voice is very unique. I'm trying to think what your voice would be. Like if I had to like get your voice and hire your voice for a role in an anime, like what would it be? I think you would be like funny friend. I
Okay.
think that's your voice. Like you would be like the funny friend. Yeah, yeah. I think you could be like the funny like side friend, like based on your voice.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like a little too maybe hmm, high pitched or something. If it'd be like a, it's not a cool like rumbly lead male role voice. Unfortunately, I
Well,
wish I could be, but it's not.
No, it's not like we're gonna go fucking kill them. It's not
You're
like
right.
that. But it's like it is like you could be heroic with your voice. It would just be like the funny guy heroic. It would be like you're funny guy. Like I feel like that's
Thanks,
good.
Jared.
Hey,
Thanks, Jared. No, I'll take it. Listen, it's not the
that's
worst part.
good.
You could be the
I could have
fat.
been like
You could
you're
be the
the
fat
pedo
loser.
guy. I
Right.
was like
Right. You could be like a fat loser. Like that's like
it's like you know what your voice sounds like? It sounds like a fat pedophile. Like I could have
right.
been like that. Like dude, you're the funny voice. That's great.
You're the funny fat pedophile. It's great. Man,
I feel like
Schemeology is off to a great start today.
oh right, yeah. Yeah. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, AI.
Well, we talk about whatever we want. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah. I really do want to get into AI. Maybe we should like make a whole clip section out of it because I want to break down. Let's really try to think whether we can it's even possible in society for AI to take our jobs. Is that going to happen? And maybe I'll start it from the engineer perspective. Little background what's happening right now. There's been these coding LLMs. If you don't know what an LLM is, it's a large language model. It's essentially ChatGPT. You're utilizing an LLM. It just predicts words and it'll you give it a question and it'll give you an answer and all this. And people are coding with these LLMs by saying, "Hey, code me a function that does X," and then it'll code it. And now it's getting so smart that it can actually do the job of like a software engineer kind of. And it's fascinating. And I'm seeing and I have a few videos where I'm like trying to like kind of automate my job with it. And I'm realizing this stuff is so powerful and everyone's already kind of using ChatGPT to code a little bit or like Copilot is another thing. And for me, I'm like just riding the wave, being like, I'm gonna build a ton of stuff to automate because I don't want to. I want to do it myself. Like I think that'd be hilarious. But a lot of people out there are like, should I even learn how to code? And I'm like, it's things are getting pretty rough out there. What's your thoughts?
I mean, see, the natural transition we're seeing already is we have a friend. You know who this person is, but we will
Okay.
say no other details other than what I
Okay.
say for their
Okay.
saying. But we have a friend
Yeah.
who has 7 tech jobs.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
high level engineering jobs at 7 different tech companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and
Crushing.
they are using AI all the time. It makes
Really for that?
for sure because it's like anything
Wow.
they can use to supplement all of the different tasks they have. Like they can pretty much do the work in like 40 to 45 hours for all these jobs,
Yeah.
but they want to be able to get it down. And so it's like using AI. They're like it's really supplementing and cutting down on the time of work dramatically. So it's like
Interesting.
it's going to quickly go from maybe AI does their job completely for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll happen yet, but I mean I mean we're already seeing it supplement good engineers so that they can do lots of more work and like just focus on the very high level programming and all the low
Yeah.
level stuff. There's ways to automate it using AI, and it just saves you typing time, which is really valuable.
Yeah, and thinking time and also like and I don't know if you saw this one, but I did this one where I was like creating an AI that can give you startup ideas and develop business plans and it'll
Right.
criticize the business plans and then it acts as an investor and asks the investor to approve it and then after it improves it like generates a code base with the idea and like that's like a whole thing that like oh, you already posted it, never mind. But that's like a whole thing that I'm seeing, like that took me, yeah, it took me a bit. It took me like 6 hours to do that. But like, think about it. If I really spent like put so much of my attention on that for like years or like a year, like how powerful could like a product like that be?
Yeah, and you're just one engineer. If you actually had a
Yeah,
team of people working on this, like,
yeah,
I mean, who know what they're doing?
exactly. And you could have like AIs that are just like roles that you just spring up. You could just spring up a startup on your computer and just have it running, and just constantly everyone's communicating with each other. People, there's already a thing called Meta GPT that sort of does this, but they're not that powerful yet. Like something that's so powerful that's like set up like a junior developer AI, set up like a senior one to check the junior, set up like a designer one that's actually creating Figma designs, and then set up like a product manager that keeps managing the product and making and pushing it towards a certain level. You just run this on your laptop at all times, then you're like, I'm gonna come home and check on my startup and see how it's going. Like that's awesome.
Totally. And you think about all the people that are going to be able to use AI to like, uh, you know, become take over their EA's job or have
Yeah,
an EA. Like even for me right now, thinking about like you could absolutely there's already AI that act and do a lot of like scheduling functions for you,
yeah,
responding to like simple inquiries, managing your calendar or whatever. But like you're probably going to be able to supplement and take away the job of a good executive assistant, like get 60% of the way there with AI right
yeah,
now. And it's like for
yeah,
someone like me who would never want to pay an EA yet, like, am I gonna? I'll absolutely consider using AI and paying for an AI just to like make my life easier and do a lot of the admin work that I don't want to have to do.
yeah. Would you, so like, with what do you see automated in what you do?
In what
Like
I do,
that could be automated. Yeah,
nothing yet, thankfully, because
nice.
I just teach people and talk to people, and AI isn't there yet where it can like it will be though. So I mean, I'm not like
Well, do you think the advice could be like I just asked like Jack GPT for stuff, like in the sort of way you coach? Like, do you think that's possible?
it's possible. I think if what I would say is like if you compiled all of my if AI can scrape all the recordings that I put together, all the lectures I do, all my
Yeah,
writing or whatever, and use that to create a model of my advice, you probably could. Um,
yeah.
you
All
probably
right,
could,
I'll do that next stream.
dude. That's actually kind of fun.
Like
Dude,
I just scrape I make a Jack GPT model that's
yeah.
just like I just ask it fundraising
Tell,
advice.
yeah. Tell the investor. My response is tell the investor to go fuck himself.
Dude,
It's
I
just, yeah.
well, I did train. So I like scraped a ton of podcasts and like trained this AI model off of like the question answering in the podcast to be like, hey, and it's based off all these like absolutely ridiculous like dating coach. Like, well, it's not ridiculous. It's like it's interesting, but like dating coach, like how women are, like all like this like banned content, and I made this AI model off of it, and it's so funny when you ask it a question. And I made it really curt, so I made it just like one sentence, and you'll be like, "What is this?" And it's like I can't even like say what it would say. It's so, but like it would, it's really, I should actually make it public because it's really funny.
You
Um,
should. Dude, that's what the ultimate scheme is, to make a bunch of like troll technology and go
yeah.
viral for trolling.
Well, yeah. Well, what's the best? Have you? When's the last time you've been trolled, or you used to troll? Were you a troll when you were a kid?
I prefer to in-person troll. I never got pleasure out of
Yeah,
online trolling.
yeah,
Like in my Minecraft server days, I would mess with people, I would
yeah,
just ban them, and kill them in the game, make them lose all their stuff, and just cry and stuff. But like, I didn't do a ton of that. But I never. That was the extent of my online days. I love an in-person troll where I make up
yeah,
I love to lie on the spot to someone, and then have to like try and convince them that my lie is real throughout. Like I have to,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like lying on the spot, right?
yeah,
So I was trying to let me try and think of a good example. Like the other week, my friend came up to me and was like, "Remember when we went to? They introduced me to someone. They brought this guy over to me, and she was like, "Hey Jack, remember when we went to ASL together? You were actually in the same year as Chad over here." And I was like, "Right, that's right, of course." And then I have to go, and then we have a conversation, and this guy like I don't know what ASL is at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know. Like I know it's a school abroad. Is it in Paris? Is it in London? I don't really know. I have to
yeah,
like get my friends just throwing this on me and seeing if I can
yeah.
do it. And I
That's
did.
hilarious.
But that's I love that kind of thing because then you start to lose them and then you have to double down and be like, listen, man, you don't like it's whatever.
Yeah,
I just to like gaslight them into thinking that you're actually telling the truth. And
it's a
I
good way
love
to like learn sales, like doing stuff like that.
totally assuming a different like I used to assume
Yeah,
characters in college. I once convinced a group of friends that I was an expert at Venetian glass blowing
that's funny. That's
because
funny.
what I'd love to do is like I read a million Wikipedia so then I get like a cursory understanding of something and
Yeah.
then my thought is like how can I lie well enough not never to put myself in a position where I could be like caught, but how do I lie just enough where I convince them, but not enough where I could be caught in the lie? And that's my
Well,
one of my favorite exercises.
dude, it sounds like you're just AI.
I
Like,
am.
you just are in it because that's what AI is doing. Like, they're just like kind of impersonating all of these little mini characters and way of speaking across the world. It's just like impersonating and regurgitating it. You are AI,
I am AI. That's actually a good point. I am the AI. I'm the original AI.
the original AI.
I'm
Dude,
a
yeah, I with all this AI stuff, like part of me thinks we should never say AI again because like it doesn't actually make any sense. I think people like when they hear AI, especially non-technical, they're like, "Oh, like AI just means like it's literally sentient. Like they're making a sentient bot, like or a sentient type of way of thinking." And then like when they're talking to ChatGPT, they I think there's people that think that it's like, oh, it's like okay, it's 5% sentience. It's like no, it's literally just like math. And I think that
right.
we should get away from like saying AI.
I mean, yeah, we could if you want
But
to be
that
rebellious, but it's
but
just a
that,
colloquial term now. It's just what everyone knows.
I guess.
We don't
Yeah.
have to. You can call it something else. I think if anything, I'm just you don't want to be the guy who's always saying the thing that everyone else is saying. So we could say
Yeah.
something. We could use this as an opportunity to like create the cool kids club.
What's the cool kid way of saying AI? It's just like oh, it's like it's a funny bot. Just take the South Park thing. No, it would just be like it's no, I mean there's so
Starlink? No.
call it Starlink.
Wait, what's the thing in Terminator? The AI that takes
Oh, what is that called?
is it Star something?
I
Is
totally forgot.
all right. Let's see. Star. It is no Starnet.
Starnet. Yeah, yeah,
No
yeah.
Skynet. Skynet.
Skynet. Yeah, that's. I'm just gonna call it AI Skynet now.
Let's call AI Skynet from now on. That's way cooler.
Yeah, I was building a Skynet the other day to read podcasts and then learn how to talk like the podcast. It was a cool Skynet.
I think we could get the tech world on board with this too. This is a good scheme. Can we
Yeah,
scheme our own like slang word into popularity?
I think so. You just gotta hammer it. Gotta make a ton of clips, and the way you do it is you just get everyone to consent to you. It's like the whole like thing where it's like you wear a fancy hat and then everyone just like it's a way of dominating the room because if no one mentions it, it makes fun of you. Then you like own the room. So like we just start saying Skynet, and then everyone's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's Skynet," and then never ever, whenever anyone asks what it is, just dismiss them and act like they're very dumb for not getting it.
We can definitely do that. It's an inside or an outside thing, and no one wants to be on the outside.
Yeah, no one wants to not know what Skynet is.
We just gaslight them like we're the US government. That's what we do.
Yes,
We just
yes.
we'd be like, "What do you mean? We never said we wanted to go into Iraq." Come on.
Well, what if governments are just like, like it's just whoever like gaslit the most just became the government throughout history, and you could just take over the government by gaslighting the government better than they're gaslighting. And then they're just like, oh no, you broke the code. And then you're the president now just because you gaslight them.
I mean, listen, there is something. I mean, that's kind of politics, isn't it? Like you, to some
Yeah, a
degree,
little bit.
like you're.
Yeah.
That's kind of like it's like gaslighting is a function of double speak. You know what double speak is? The idea of double speak.
It sounds like 1984 type
It
stuff.
is. It's
Yeah.
something. It was. I believe it was coined in like the 50s or the 60s. But it was like right when politicians started saying using lots of complex words to say nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
basically
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the idea of obfuscating language. I always fuck up that word, but like
Yeah.
making it really hard to understand what people are trying to say. It's like saying like if someone gets asked like, "Sir, what are your stances on war?" and you're like, "War is a complex and a nuanced subject involving two parties that are at conflict over disagreements." And we must mitigate disagreements and
Yeah.
understand conflict to move past. And you're
Yeah.
like, none of that was actually,
It's like,
you just said nothing.
that
Nothing.
was nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And like, and the beautiful thing about Trump was he did this too, but he just took like a much lower, much more 11-year-old way of doing
Right.
things. It was the same thing, but it would just be instead of using double speak, he'd just call you a loser and a dork.
Right.
Because that's the same thing. It's like, let's just go on the attack now and not use, we never have to address real issues. We just have to use
Dude, what if
complicated
there
words
was a gaslight Skynet?
oh,
Like
can we create the
like
gaslighting bot?
yeah, like a gaslight Skynet. I don't know what you just said, but a bot? Oh, I mean a Skynet. Yeah, like a
Skynet, sorry.
right, yeah. So like a gaslighting Skynet where it's like like it literally like as you talk to it, it's just like constantly like like I'm trying to think of what's like the most narcissistic way to like maybe you ask it like a question about relationship stuff and it just always tells you you're wrong and the other side's right. It's like something like
Ooh.
that. Some
Who's
way
like,
that it
is that what you really think? I was always questioning you.
yeah.
It's
That's a
con
good yeah. And it plays victim, something like that.
Oh, it's perfect. Play victim. I also like the idea of a passive aggressive Skynet. Just
Oh
like
yeah.
leaning in, just never insulting
Yeah.
you, but just like, yeah, I really love that color. It's surprising. It looks pretty good on you. Just like constantly like minor slights all the time.
And then when you're reading it, you're like it takes a while for you to really get it because at first you're like, oh, it's just because it'll still answer the question, but then it'll be really passive aggressive about it. And then as you're like using this chat, uh, Skynet, you're like, is this? I think this is passive, being really passive aggressive. Like I think, like, but it's a slow burn over time. Oh yeah, I love the idea of making these little AIs that are just like, but making these little AIs that are just like so psychologically traumatizing to use.
I think that's great. I think if Skynet's going to do one thing, it's the society's mental integrity is at an all-time low, and I think passive aggressive and slightly like demeaning AI in Skynets can just
Yeah,
absolutely crumble whatever remaining ego any human being has.
it's something you use just to destroy your ego. Maybe it'll be like something that these like the hyper optimizing entrepreneur types on like the influencers are like, yeah, after my cold shower plunge in the morning, and after my like 30-minute meditation, I use the Skynet bot to destroy my ego and self abuse. It's the best way to optimize your morning routine. I
Totally.
think like because that's kind of the next step. The next step is to optimize yourself so much that you're literally just abusing yourself every morning for like 30 minutes psychologically.
I mean, that's what people already do when they go on social media. They go and look at
It's
like
true.
they go look at just
It's
like
true.
some hot girl living a beautiful life in Hawaii in a mega mansion, and they just
Hmm.
and they just get super sad and then they go to work. That's what people do
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. And then they go to bed like, why do I hate myself? And then and then
They
yeah,
wake up like the Manchurian Candidate the next day, eh, and then
yeah.
they go,
Yeah.
kid, everyone's richer and hotter and cooler than I am. Okay, time to go to work.
And then it's actually so funny because it's like I remember seeing some article where it was like, oh my god, these researchers found out that people there's a 20% higher chance of being depressed by like going on social media like an extra 5 hours a day or something like that. Like how is this possible? And I remember reading it, I'm like, um why were people even researching that? That's just like an obvious thing. Like
Wait, what
yeah,
were they
obvious,
researching?
like they found out, oh, you're more depressed if you go on social media like an extra hour or something. And I was
Dude,
like,
that's
whoa.
my absolute least favorite thing I see on the internet all the time are the people that like defend like that like see studies that like social media hurts you and they're like, I've built an OnlyFans career and made $9 million a year. Social media saved my life and my family. And it's like, it
It's
doesn't mean
like,
that it's not useful. It just means disproportionately it ruins
yeah.
people's lives
Well,
more than it helps them.
a lot of people can only think through their experience about when like talking about things in terms of impact. And it's like, no, like statistically, obviously social media is like breaking families apart, like it's like that's just happening. And also like it's okay, cool, you made your money on your OnlyFans. There's also like a society be crumbling because you are doing that. Like I mean, like it's like nice you're making your money, but like also it's like
Contributing in the hedonism leading to the downfall of society.
yeah, it's like it's like fall of Rome, and you're like, I just got my DS today, and it's like yeah, cool. It's
I
like
just I think one of my favorite things is that I've never had these social medias where I've kept up. Like I don't know what a single person from my high school is doing other than the
yeah.
two people I still am in contact with from high school. I have
Oh yeah, that's good.
I have no idea. And
Yeah,
I don't get updates. They could be doing anything. And like
yeah.
I think about just like all of the mental bandwidth that goes into most people's day-to-day lives thinking about people they will never meet again and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
keeping they're like I want to see what Mark is doing. I'm like, "Why?
Yeah.
Why?" It's like because I'm like I only how they're like, "Well, how do you know what your friends are up to?" If I care about them, I ask them how they're doing.
Yeah.
But if
It's
I don't care about them and don't care, or I don't think about it, it doesn't happen, which means I
and
now have mental bandwidth to be a person.
and also like when you go on Facebook, like I'll see like people from high school and I'll be like, "Oh, that's horrifying that you're like either doing the same exact thing you were doing 10 years ago or your brain's like been completely fried from like all whatever new narrative is around in the world." Like I don't want to like be horrified seeing like people I knew grow up be like destroyed, or like even if like, and it's like it used to be like you would come back to your hometown and see these things and you're like, whoa, not going back there, or you're like, oh, like that's cool.
Yeah,
But now
Mark's
it's like,
400. Now it's like Mark just posted a picture. He's 400 pounds.
yeah, he's 400 pounds and like hates his life and it talks about it every day, and you're like, okay, I guess like that's a traumatizing thing that I'm just gonna have to like not.
Yeah. Remember the valedictorian from high school? They drive Uber now. Turns
Yeah,
out
right.
try hard dorks aren't great at getting jobs.
No, which is another thing with the AI thing. Like,
That's the biggest irony too. Is that's why
yeah,
AI is like being a good student is the closest thing to AI because it's like you're basically you pull in information and you regurgitate, right? It's
that's
not
funny.
it's not thought.
Yeah,
AI is the super nerd from high school who gets all the
yeah.
A's, who you hate because it makes it look bad to your dad, who's
That's
like,
so
why don't
true.
you get A's? But then you end up being the CEO, you end up being their boss.
Yeah,
It's like, why? It's because they have no character. They're not real people.
yeah.
They're not real
No,
people
yeah.
with individual
AI
thought.
is just a 4.0 GPA. That's all AI is. Yeah,
That's right now for sure. It can regurgitate facts. It can tell you, how many founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence in
yeah,
in a second. Like, good. Hey, good for you.
Yeah,
By the way, get my coffee, bitch. You know?
and when you ask like ChatGPT, oh yeah, like give me like a story, it'll be the most mundane like BS ever because it's just like averaging all the stories together and then like trying to give you a story, and it'll be like, and even if you tell it to be interesting, it'll be like just bizarre and creepy. Um, I don't think there's nothing cool about AI at this point. About the AI that's automating stuff away. There's nothing cool about it. There's nothing unique and authentic about it.
No, it just regurgitates facts and like and the worst thing about it too, and this is like I can right now I can still always tell when someone writes with AI because
Yeah.
it or most of the time because it's just like formulaic buzzwords. I
Yeah.
hate buzzwords and people who communicate and like this revolutionary company that optimizes efficiency and has over
Yeah.
49 features. It's just like, ugh,
Jack,
shut up.
I have a secret to tell you.
What?
I've literally only ever talked to you with ChatGPT.
Not true.
That's the only way I've ever texted you or emailed you ever this entire time. And frankly, you're embarrassing yourself right now. I
All
just
right,
want to.
dude, I've been embarrassing myself since birth. Good luck getting me on that one. Okay.
So, do you know about heaven banning?
No, go on.
So it's this thing. It's generally this concept of like essentially banning people on social media by not really because it's the shadow banning where it's like you kind of don't really know if you're banned, but you just give them a ton of bots that agree with them and that they can interact with all day,
This is what I like.
and
Just be
you're
like,
just like
yeah, man,
yes.
Trump 2024, and it's just full of bots. They
It's just
never have human conversations. They never influence anyone else. They're only influencing bots. I love
yeah,
this idea.
like you just put people in their own little worlds. It's like, oh yeah, you like the X thing, just only talk to those people that like X thing, you'll be
Have you
great.
have you seen like that those like Twitter accounts like the Brooklyn Dad or whatever that are just like
Oh my god.
yeah,
Yeah, that
like
dude
just
sucks.
and they have them the same thing for Republicans too, which are equally
Yeah.
horrible. Just anyone who's just like hard lining a political party and like all they tweet
Yeah.
about is like, guess who wasn't wearing a mask today?
Yeah.
And just like, oh, Trump's indicted, go to prison, motherfucker.
It's
Yeah, white
like
power.
since when did being cuz growing up if you were like very sassy, especially about politics, like people would like want to hurt you. Like that's like that would get beaten out of you like by the time you were like 10 or something. Like that would like by the time you were like able to communicate with people, like if you were just like you're wrong about political thing, then the
Your
world
dad would
would like
hit you.
shame you. Yeah, your dad would be like, boom,
Be like,
stop.
if you ever talk about politics at this dinner
Yeah.
table again, you're going out the window. You
And
know,
now you make like $1 million a year being a sassy tweeter.
a
And it's
political,
like
a political. Imagine this word: a political social media influencer. That's a career now. You
oh
can be
my
a
god.
career, and the worst part is,
Talk
it's
about
like,
AI.
oh my god, that's
Jesus
what AI
Christ.
should do because it's the
Yeah.
most dumb
Yeah.
content ever.
And it's
AI
like,
already talks in doublespeak. It's actually the perfect job for AI.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
No,
a good scheme. The election cycle's coming up. You know how we're making our money? We're going to start a bunch of political bots on both sides and just rack up the Twitter impressions and get paid that sweet, sweet Twitter money.
or you know, it'd be interesting. What if you could act with the heaven banning idea? What if you could like heaven ban people and then have them like it to the point where they pay for it?
Oh my God, right. No,
Like
there's
just keep feeding their ego to the point where they're like, and then you take it away and they're like, no, no, I
right.
want.
They need it. They're like, wait, I don't want to hear. They get to the point where like the bot just makes them feel so good about themselves. They're like, I don't want
Yeah.
to hear any actual opinions. Just send me more of this stuff that makes me feel great. You're so attractive. Jared, is that a new jacket? I mean, dude, your style, it's just rocking today, brother. The
And then you
hair
go out,
too.
and then you go out in the world, and it's like your jacket's gay, and then you're like, no, I need to go
Where's
back.
my bot?
Where's my bot?
Where's
What the-
Skynet?
it would be
Help.
called "Where's My Bot?"
Yeah. Do you ever see the South Park episode where Cartman makes Butters go through all of his social media and only show him the good comments, but he only gets
Oh,
he gets like 2 good comments a day and 11,000 horrible comments a day.
no, I haven't seen that. That's funny.
But it's like it's literally that's what it made me think of. Is just like only show people the good stuff and you just get what actually I actually have a question for you. What do you think about like the using of Twitter for like podcasting, like Tucker Carlson's posting there all the time
Yeah,
now. Like, where do you think this is going?
Well, I think we're just so post mainstream like CNN media to the point where it doesn't even like there's no more platforms really. It's just like wherever the eyeballs are, people are going to stream to. And I think now we're at a point where you can't really cancel someone because people like Elon Musk will just like buy your company and then like or buy where the eyeballs are and just get people to go to those eyeballs.
Right.
I think that's really where we're at now. I think like you can't really. There's no more like walled garden or whatever, or there's no more. You can't like hide the truth really. And I'm not saying whoever's truthful. I'm not making any political thing, but I'm just saying like you can just like wherever the eyeballs are now you can find the eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, as long as social media isn't fully state owned, I mean, you can. It's really hard not to like to get away with like lying to everyone about everything. Like,
You
it's
get
coming.
checked pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, you think about also like I mean, who has the best hackers in the world? Our government.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, I mean, guys, come on. Like,
dude, the best hacker in the world is in a basement with a dried sock,
or
in Israel and very sweaty, and
it's hot there.
Is 16, and is going to destroy your world.
Yeah,
just because it's fun. That's the best hacker in the world.
But yeah, of course. Oh, all these like any hacker that's like politically affiliated or whatever, it's like, dude, such dorks.
No, the best hacker just does it for fun
and for themselves. Is selfish.
True.
Like, just like what are these? Because I don't trust it. I don't trust anyone who's like trying to be a hero. It's like they're clear. You know what I mean?
No.
Heroes are just heroes. They just exist and they do good things and they move on with their lives. People trying to be heroes, like anyone who's trying to be like a hacker hero or whatever, they've got children in a basement somewhere, probably
100%.
Look in the Philippines, then Indonesia, and get back to me.
Yeah, whenever someone's like, oh, like their identity is a savior, you know that they're hiding something dark.
Hey, look at Lizzo. You see here that all the recent.
Dude, I don't know what about that? That was a big left turn.
I was gonna say.
You're like, what about Lizzo? I'm like, whoa.
Did you see all the flack Lizzo's been getting the last couple of weeks?
I don't know anything about.
This
I know
is the
that
only
she's really big and she sings. That's all I know.
She's a big gal for sure. So the whole gist of it, I learned of this from Tim Dillon's podcast, which is how I get my any pop culture information. It's my only access. But basically, Lizzo's was the queen of the fats for a while. You know, she's the queen of the fats. But then
she was their she was their spokesperson.
Absolutely. Yeah. She was their spokesperson. She was part of the any size is beautiful movement and you know, I'm just as hot as Margot Robbie kind of person, which is
which is like, oh, you're just like a liar.
Right, you're insane. You're insane.
Yeah.
You're obviously crazy.
And for someone it's like, anyways, continue.
Anyway, so I appreciate it. We're getting better at this podcasting thing.
I was about to go on a whole thing, and then
we're getting better. But my point is, so she had a show. Lizzo has a reality TV show that has plus size backup dancers auditioning to be on tour with her.
Okay,
that's the whole concept: is getting 400, 500-pound girls to become her backup dancers.
Yeah.
And apparently all this backlash came out. Her backup dancers sued her for having a toxic work environment, making them eat bananas that were in strippers' vaginas. 100 She was fat shaming these people. She was telling them like that.
She was.
Yeah, apparently she was saying like the girls were too big. Like she was going in on them, and
Is that
like
like a competitive thing where she's like, I need to be like the biggest and they can't be bigger than me? Like, what if it's like she's like, they're mogging me?
well, what I love Tim's point, which I thought was great. He was just like he's like, listen, you don't. He's like, oh, look at who these other dancers are. They look exactly like you. They're coming for you. You know, like this is and his
Oh,
whole point was like the second you accept being on the throne of being a savior for any group of people,
yeah.
the first thought that comes through everyone's head is we need to destroy her.
No, 100%.
No one, everyone who gets like the king,
Yeah.
hey, I'm fat people are beautiful now. I'm the queen of the fat people movement. You know what? That we're now looking in your closet for all of your demons and
Yeah.
skeletons, and we're gonna throw you under the bus the second we can. This
This is
happens every time.
this one comedian, I don't know where to reach because he was referencing someone else, I think, but talks about this concept of the pit and the pedestal, which I love so much. It's the victim and the victor. It's like so like the eternal victim. So like it happens with black people, it happens with fat people, it happens with every like thing that is the different thing. And it's like once you start identifying with what like makes you different in this way that the like supremacy. So pretty much like it's like the because Lizzo's like not only am I huge, I'm also better than other people because I'm fat. Like that, and you know, maybe I shouldn't say it directly, but that's kind of like the vibe. Because if you're gonna be proud being fat, it has to be a supremacy angle. That's the only logical angle. But as soon as someone's like that, they get put on the pedestal. So it's like, okay, oh, everyone loves me. I'm actually representing the downtrodden fats. And then, but as soon as that happens, you get put in the pit because as
Yes.
soon as it's cyclical, it's like because they were in the pit because everyone saw them in the pit naturally. Then they got put in the pedestal. Then they get put in the pit, and then they have to go shoot back. It's like it's a loop.
Right.
It happens with
Now they
like
have to be caught like serving soup at a soup kitchen or something, and
exactly
like they need some
right.
new angle to come off of it. Um,
Re-victimize yourself, put yourself back in the pit. People put you on the pedestal. They take you out. It's the same song and dance.
it's a classic cycle. It happens with political figures. It happens with
Everything.
everything. Remember Andrew Cuomo? Remember
Uh,
Cuomo?
yeah, but what's his thing?
Well,
I
everyone
actually
briefly in the pandemic, he was going on TV every day. Everyone was talking about him, and
yeah.
then
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
remember that?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
literally, I was seeing this girl and she was texting me, being like, "My mom and I are just so comforted by Andrew Cuomo every night." Like, thankfully,
It's
he's here for us, and
retarded. Yeah,
right, and I'm like, wait a second, what is happening? No, like literally,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
happening? Like,
And then he like didn't he like kill a ton of people by like having like
of
like
course,
like tons of the machines were shut off in this like hospital where people were like on machine. I don't know enough about this, but like I'm pretty sure a ton of people died because of his lack of awareness. But I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that
yeah,
publicly. But
there was some stuff with the nursing homes. There's a lot of
that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But
not so
like,
nice
yeah,
stuff.
as soon as you think you're the guy saving everyone and you try to get that mass appeal of like, oh, I'm the guy that's gonna save you, you're gonna be the first one. It's off with his head. They're gonna get your head. That's just the way people are. And you know what it is? It's more. We don't have to get too into this, but it's a worship reaction. People, when they and this is just historical. When people worship something, especially something that's like a false idol, they want to kill it like
Yeah,
there's a whatever you worship there's moments where you have like a and it's not good but like people have a natural reaction when they collectively worship to eventually want to just there's a death anxiety around worship that's pretty dark so maybe don't like put yourself on a pedestal that you're gonna save man and do all this
well,
crazy stuff.
you can't ever lean into it, right? You have to
Yeah, yeah.
if people idolize you, you have to not be involved in that process at all. You have to
Yeah,
exist.
yeah,
You have to exist, and then people create an idol out of you. But then you can just you always have the out of like listen, I'm just doing what I do, and this is what people like. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm just
Yeah.
doing what my thing, right? And then that makes you even more legit. And it's
Right.
like, and it makes you harder to cancel or whatever, because you're never claiming to be something you're not. People
Yeah.
are putting their own words in your mouth, or their own ideologies, their own belief structure on projecting that onto you, rather than
And
having this bullshit of like you being like,
yeah.
I am. Listen, someone had to say it, and someone had to be here
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
like someone had to speak for the unspoken. And
and
by the
also, yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like you're gonna say
on,
something similar.
on the whole, like speaking for the unspoken fat people part,
Yeah.
everyone's fat. Everyone. What? This isn't a minority group. Everyone's
Yeah,
fat.
yeah,
Everyone.
that's so funny. That's a good point. I didn't even
This
think
is
about that.
85% of America's
80%.
overweight.
Yeah.
Like 50% obese. What?
It's not even a
What?
minority.
No, it's a majority. It's a literal
Yeah.
majority now.
That's
Everyone's fat. Someone being at 13% body fat is literally that's a
right.
minority. You're
Well,
in the top 0.01% of the population, and that's a healthy body weight.
but also like the mental gymnastics people have to go into like trying to make themselves feel good are just so crazy. And the thing that they don't understand is like, no, like the thing that makes you actually feel good isn't social validation. That's like if you're a really weak person or like a child, it's like you get the social validation and that's what makes you feel good. As an adult, as like a grown man, you get validation by overcoming something and then personally realizing that you have power now. Like that's what real empowerment is. It comes from actually overcoming something. Not like, oh, I'm now like because everyone like accepts me for being fat, I'm now empowered. It's like no, people are lying to you, and as soon as Lizzo, as soon as you get on that pedestal, they're gonna try to kill you. They're worshiping you, and they're gonna try to get you. They might eat you too,
They
which
might.
that's a lot of meat there.
There's a
You know,
lot to go around.
yeah, you don't want to be a fat person that people want to kill and eat. That's not something in nature you want to be.
On the topic of eating people, I have a really great quote.
How? What?
Um,
How do you have a really good quote? There.
it's the quote. The quote I believe is I always bring a compass because it's awkward having to eat your friends.
Oh, that's okay. That's funny. That's funny.
Which I thought was very fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's dark. That's funny.
On the topic of eating people,
On the topic of it, and also like, I feel like if you're gonna eat someone, you probably don't want someone that's like fat though. Just being real.
you might want them. If we could take this in a dark direction. They have a lot of fat which you could use for as oil. It's good for cooking. You
That's
could use it.
true.
You
Yeah.
could render the fat for
Yeah.
cooking.
You
You
can
know, it's
render the fat for cooking, but the problem, but for eating, is probably a lot of linoleic acid in there. Like they're probably eating a ton of corn and soy to get that big, and you're gonna wind up just like eating a ton of that like
yeah,
corn and so. It's why you don't. It's why it's actually better to get grass fed beef versus chicken typically because
totally.
of the linoleic acid. But yeah, get the food you need. Get the food
Get
you
the
need.
foods you need. You know,
Which yeah, but
eat.
don't. By the way, don't kill and eat anybody.
Don't
If
kill and
you're
eat
watching,
anyone.
I probably
It
we're
would be
just
from our
talking.
obscure podcast at the next Jeffrey Dahmer forum. All right, hey, you psychos. All right, no Schemeology listener is allowed to eat anyone for at least 6 months. Okay,
You
we need
know,
a
there's
6-month buffer before you eat anyone.
there's one guy who we said that and he was like, oh okay.
Yeah, he was like,
He was
there's.
like sharpening the knife when
Right.
we said that, and then he was like,
He's like, the boys gave
oh.
us permission, so we better, you know.
The cops are like, who are the boys? And then like we get a call and they're like, so apparently you said that this guy should just murder a ton of fat people and eat them. And then it's like, so that's the thing is I don't even have a podcast. Like I don't even
I
know
don't
what
know
you're
what
talking
that
about.
is, sir.
I don't
Officer.
know. Schemeology?
Click.
No. Yeah.
Hang up. Click. Hang up. Call a lawyer.
Close the door, call a lawyer. It's like I don't know anything about that.
Ah,
That's
Our platform is too powerful. We're basically, the next Joe Rogan. We have the power of getting fat people killed and eaten.
That's the thing is like because you'll hear those like school shooters that are like, oh yeah, like I listened to Ben Shapiro and then like all of a sudden shot a bunch of people, and then people be like, oh my god, Ben Shapiro is like putting a ton of hate into the world, and it's like, do, you could go to any if like so if I go to a psych ward and like someone sees me and say I'm inspired by this person to go like murder my inmate or the person next to me, does that mean that I like that was me? That's the real victim blaming in this world. Victim
Listen,
blaming influencers.
that's right. It's not my fault. One of my fans killed Lizzo and ate her foot. Okay, not my fault.
That's a situation where it's like you're probably wondering how I got here.
Right?
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly that meme.
it's like
Totally,
that'd be a
totally.
great movie about a guy who's like the world thinks that he like convinced this murderer to like kill fat people and he keeps trying to get out of it.
Did he actually do it or did he not do it?
Maybe you don't know, but it's like from his perspective or it's from someone else's perspective.
I kind of like that. I
I
kind of like that. Like he's going, like the whole movie is just the drama behind the incident, and like
yeah,
you never saw what it was. It's just like he wakes up the next day and his agent's calling him, be like, "Dude, you're on CNN right now. You know that?
right.
Like, and it's just like it's basically like his Joe Rogan ivermectin experience. Like
Yeah.
it's like that, except he
That's
got
actually
so
interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
and then in the end he's like, "Oh, in the end he's like, yeah, it's like I actually did it's not pre-recorded. This is us talking right now." Kind of. The wait, do people think this is pre-recorded?
Wait, why would they think it's pre-recorded? They're not.
That's hilarious. But are we that good? No. But
Dude, they think we're AIs. They got to the Skynet portion and they think that we're just AIing this whole thing.
that's how AI is destroying society so much that people genuinely think this is just like nothing's real and everything's fake.
Yeah, this is BS. They should know that
Dude,
we don't have any friends. We're just talking to each other at 7:50 on a Friday.
I just had a good idea. What if the
What's
heaven banning idea, you took that to jobs, and with this remote work thing, you just job ban.
How would you job ban people?
you get, you give them a job, and then it's fake. Everyone who work on the Slack is fake.
We create a fake company.
And then you get, I can't even fully say it because it's so diabolically. You give them fake things to work on. You give them like a fake manager. It's all remote, and then like you have like fake AI video calls on like their Zoom, and and you see how long you actually get the charade going. And then maybe you just set aside like $10,000 to just like to pay this person. Or
I think, dude, what if we can set up a full company, a full fake
yeah,
company?
yeah, yeah.
But the beautiful thing is that all of their fake work, if it's good, we then turn it into a real company and steal all the
Yeah.
money.
Like you just do this, you set up tons of different experiments and you just do this in like to like 10 different people and see which one like gets the best startup. This is like a movie. That's like a it's like the startup like Olympics and but they all think they're actually working on a startup. Oh my
But
god.
we're just stealing the IP and using it to make money and selling it.
Yeah, and then we're just like, oh, and then like they see it later on, they're like, wait, I built all of that, and none of those people existed. Because
What?
like you could have a remote job where you genuinely don't know if anyone exists. Like that's totally possible.
It is a dark reality. You can get to the point where you don't have any real human interaction. You're just like,
No,
well, that's the thing. It's like all these people like Slack updates and they're removing the humanity from work. It's like
yeah,
also it's crazy to me that people seem to think that like how many people do you know that can self motivate to do anything for more than 1 or 2 hours a day?
like not a lot at all.
Like I know, like
It's a minority.
I might know 5 people
Yeah,
out of thousands.
yeah,
Like that's the crazy thing with this whole remote work thing. Like if
yeah,
you like, there's no way that these people are doing a good job. They're
yeah.
not. They're that's
No,
hence the
they're not.
hence the tech layoffs that have not impacted. Like the companies function exactly the same with 1/10 the
Yeah.
employees. I mean, look at Twitter. Like
Dude,
it's fine, and everyone's trying to make Twitter out to not be fine. It's literally fine.
dude, Twitter's great right now. It's actually really good. But so like what I'm one thing I'm realizing, the remote work thing is such a bad, it's such bad positioning to be like, "Oh, we need remote work." Only because you're becoming an API for your business to subscribe to. You're literally just like a labor API that your business is like, you're like SaaS developer or like SaaS designer.
And
Like
you're rented. You're not
you're
employed.
rented, yeah.
You
Like
know,
and there's no human interaction, there's no face to face, you're literally just, it's like just enter in your like design dev units today, and then the company's like, "Oh, Slack, thank you." It's like, no.
yeah. I mean, I think that the missed reality for most people is that like your humanity is what keeps you at any good thing longer, right?
Yep,
Like the thing that
yep,
keeps you at a
yeah,
job is not necessarily fully skill set, because most of us are not the best at what we do. But how do the people who
right,
aren't the best at what they do make a ton of money and like rise to the top of a company and stick around, while others who are better at their jobs get fired? They're liked. They have they
yeah,
have they have political and social influence in this environment. And like remote work removes all ability to socially and
yeah,
morally, emotionally impact people to a large extent. You can kind
yeah,
of do it, but like acting like the engagement you do in Slack with your coworkers, or like the not being able to like put a hand on someone's shoulder, or
right,
like talk to them over lunch, or laugh with them, or have an experience walking down the streets of New York, like that's powerful. And those are the
yeah.
experiences that make you invaluable to the culture of a company.
And
Remote
also,
work makes you so like dispensable.
and also, especially if you're like young, especially like under 25, in that age bracket where it's like you're still like developing as a person mentally and physically, you don't want your to not interface face to face with people, one for the social reasons, but two because like you're not gonna like have build camaraderie and get that positive feedback loop that you really need when you're like maturing.
Yeah. Do you know why parents can self motivate? Because they have children. And if they don't make
Yeah,
money,
yeah,
their
yeah,
children
yeah,
will
yeah,
starve to death.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
young people they need to be monitored, but they also need to be in an environment where they learn to socialize, build skills, build
Yeah.
relationships. And you do that through work. Most of my friendships are from work and people that
Right.
I've met doing stuff. And like, I and I'm actually thinking about doing, I kind of want to like get a big office in New York and just like rent it out, like do my own WeWork for my friends,
Yeah.
my startup friends,
Oh, you
just
should do that.
so we all have a place to work, and then
Yeah.
I can host events there because I've been hosting events, like tech events. I did a whiskey night last night. That was,
Nice.
dude, it was a total banger. It was
That's
awesome.
great.
Hell yeah.
No, you should. I think you'd kill that. Yeah.
Exactly. But like the
Like,
point is like in-person experiences, and like people were texting me after the whiskey night, like in our in-person hang, they were like, dude, I was having a terrible day. And
yeah.
like I felt so energized and happy after that. And like
Oh,
that's
that's
because
awesome.
they met cool people and had real, like authentic experiences.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need people socializing. We don't need people
And
hiding in their homes
also,
and playing League of Legends.
yeah, 100%. And you need like to have that's yeah, in-person events are so important, and just like the camaraderie you have in the competitive environment in person that you need when you're young is really important too, where it's like you need to have like buddies that are also driven at your level, that are like you guys are all hungry at the same time, and doing that remotely is just so dumb and like boring, and it's shitty and gay, like you don't want to be like just on like remotely competing with people your whole life. Like no, you want to get in face to face. Like my early, like when I was like teenage years to early 20s, like it was all just like in person competitive with other engineers. Like, and that stuff's
Can
so important.
can I also say something dark but very important?
Yeah,
Many things in your career you don't want there to be a paper trail to.
yeah, yeah.
Seriously, like
No, 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 that's a
you
good
want
point.
like all these people you think about every performance report ever, every single thing you've ever done, every mess up, thing that you've ever done wrong is
Yeah,
digitally marked and there's a timestamp to it. And we could start to
yeah,
create a credit score around your ability to be a good employee.
yeah,
And like rather that if you're in person, think of, do you know how many secrets, like things you weren't supposed to know, like like times that like executives or important people opened up to you about something because they were sitting down with you and
yeah.
you had a moment where you had this authentic connection and they just go, yeah, this is all bullshit, man.
Oh,
And
speaking
you're
of that, dude, those conversations themselves, like those side conversations with people, one with more power than you and that know more stuff, like that stuff's not going to happen remotely.
no,
Like that stuff happens when it's like at a mixer event or something like that.
totally, totally.
Yeah, that's yeah. This remote, you're just becoming AI you're becoming an AI API for your company to subscribe to.
You
Like the
will be
more you
replaced
do.
even longer. And
Oh yeah,
my least favorite thing about this whole like AI or this whole like work from home revolution is all the people who are like, this is the best thing for anyone. My mental health is so better. Were parents.
yeah.
They were parents. And it was
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's like, of course, I get it's better for you, but it's worse for everyone else. If you
right.
don't have children and you're young and trying to build relationships, remote work is the worst possible thing for both your career and your mental health.
Yeah,
And all these
100%.
parents were just tweeting about like, I feel amazing. It's like, yeah, because you get to like, it's convenient and good for you.
Yeah,
And hey, if there could be a system where parents are allowed to work from home, let them. But all the rest of us who are trying to grow and meet
right.
people and expand or are focused on our career right now, and by the way, you should be focused on your kids if you're a parent. But like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
on you. Don't mess up my life and my
yeah,
career just because it's convenient for you. It's
yeah.
it completely inconvenient for me.
But also, like, it's also bad for business too. Like, it's just not
Totally.
good. Like with the accountability thing, most people can't hold themselves accountable. Like the parents, they're gonna vouch for themselves like over the company anyway. But it's like the people running these businesses need to be like a little bit stauncher on like, hey, like, is this actually lowering productivity? Like a lot
Totally.
of people are finding that it is, and that's why we're getting the push back to reality now because it's like, yeah, you can't like develop the minds of your people and have accountability structures from like thousands of miles away. That's not going to like work over a long period of time.
No, like oh let me ask you this. Do you watch more YouTube videos when you work from home?
Right.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
oh you don't. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
when you don't are your breaks not a little longer when there's
Yeah.
no one watching you? It's like, come on. And then the worst thing is then what'll eventually happen is companies are going to have to implement tracking tools to like literally monitor your activity.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then your life will be way worse. Your
Well, that's
life will
already a
be
thing. It's
totally.
just like they don't like. I I feel like the push to like reusing that software again is because that used to be how like a lot of tech was done. Is like you had like these tracking software, and then they have to like watch you, and then you like send it in, and then it went away because startup people were a little cooler. And it's probably gonna come back with all this remote work.
Oh, totally. As power shifts to completely once again back to employers, I mean, you need money? Okay,
Right.
download the software, big guy.
Right.
Like what are you? You're not doing anything about it.
But yeah, I do got to go
Yeah,
at the end of the hour.
I got you,
But
brother. We made it.
we made it. This is a super fun convo. I feel like there's a lot of AI projects, Skynet projects we can build.
We're gonna have to. We have to go
We
build an
have to.
AI. All
We
right,
have.
gang. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, thanks. See you guys.